And hello again, or just hello, if you haven't seen me before. My name's Ian Walker. I am an ex-developer, now retired. I am a music composer with FL Studio. As a developer, did a lot of programming, ended up sort of getting promoted out of programming to become a technical architect, which I tried to avoid for a long time. I worked as a consultant, as a developer and as a technical architect. Now, today, this is really only aimed at a target audience of people who currently develop or are thinking of developing Python scripts in FL Studio. Because it's a scripting platform rather than a full debugging platform, there's some issues, of which one I'm looking at today, which is getting debugging information out of FL Studio from the FL Studio debug window without having to write your own print statements, or a time saver, I guess, a time saving tool. So without further ado, let's load up what I'm looking at here. I've set up some file locations. This one here called testing is, if you think of this as being where your scripts live in FL Studio, so under the hardware, your directory name area in FL Studio. But for the purposes of me developing this script, and it's currently script program, and it's currently under development, I'm just doing it this way. What today's about is really trying to get an idea on whether this is something useful for other people out there, whether there's already something, because I don't really want to reinvent the wheel, or if there's a better way of doing this that I'm not aware of. All those things are possible. But let's assume that this is going to be something of interest. What I have here is a couple of other script directories with Python code from existing hardware. So this one is the Minilab 3, so relatively recent. So this is the source code as it stands. And if you want to understand the source code, or maybe you want to add to it and maybe improve it, this is a crutch, I guess. It will help you do that. And it'll make more sense when I show you rather than just blabbering on about it. So let's fire up Visual Studio. So this is my code. I'm running it in debugging mode. It's a work in progress. Let's run it. So it's looking now at this directory, all these files in this directory, and it's going to add print statements effectively. In fact, that's what it's just done there. I'm writing stuff out to the console window. This will probably change. It's more for my benefit. But I'll show you soon. I'll put a header in there, so I say it's for my benefit. Maybe it's not. Found spacing of space 4, so within this Python code, whoever wrote it decided that the standard, which is 4 spaces for indentation, is a good standard, and they've used it. A lot of the Python code that's in the scripting forum, most of it uses 4 spaces, but not all of it. Some uses 3 spaces, some uses tabs. So I've tried to adapt the code to work with those scenarios. As it goes through, it looks for Python files and subroutines, methods, functions, whatever you want to call them, within them, and documents them. So you can see that within these files, within Minilab 3 navigation, that must be one of the main files, it's found 26 subroutines, which is documented. Anyway, that's by the by. Let's have a look at what it's actually done. So the largest file, Minilab 3 plugin py, let's have a look at that. So I'll load this up in code, and I'll just show you what has just gone on. So a whole load of initialization. Here we've come to our first subroutine definition. I think that stands for definition. I don't know what else would it stand for. Anyway, I think it's definition. So it's added a print statement, and if you know anything about the script debugger in scripting in FL Studio, you'll know that you don't get information out unless you put it in using print statements. So we're printing out here the name of the subroutine, function, method, whatever you want to call it, and where it's located, so which file it's located in. And then we've got a line on each of the parameters that are included. Now I say each of the parameters, in this case an event has been passed in, so I've taken from the event the most useful things, so the status, data 1 and data 2 attributes, and then the second parameter is something called clef, so that will get output as well. So basically when you're running the program in FL Studio, if you've got the debug window open, the debugging console I think it's called, I'm not sure, then you'll see all these print statements coming up as you hit the keys on your bit of hardware, or as you interact with your bit of software that you've already scripted or that someone else has scripted. Hope that makes some sense. Obviously with the magic of processing now, it's able to do this really quickly, a lot quicker than you can type them all in yourself, and hopefully it does it without making too many errors. That's just a large subroutine. Let's see what else we've got further down. That's a whole load of else ifs there. Gosh, that's large. Oh, this is a plugin one, so it's probably not the best one to choose. Let's just pick out another one quickly. Nav3 navigation.py. Let's load that up. Loading it up in code here, Microsoft code. So a whole load of subroutines here, or methods, or functions, whatever you want to call them. There's one with a lot of parameters passed through it. So you can see the first line is saying, giving you the name of the method or function or whatever, and then there's a line each for each of the parameters that are going through. And you'll probably tell by the way that that print statement is formatted that when you run this in FL Studio, you'll get information back out as it runs. So there's some value in seeing the individual methods going through, but there's also some value in seeing the order that they've gone through and what they're passing between each other with actual values, rather than having to just look at the source code yourself. Now again, I think I want to encourage everyone who knows, if there's any tools out there that do things like this already, please let me know. Any tools out there that do things that you find helpful, and there are some already. I think HGSQ has got a really good plugin information utility. I'll maybe do a video on that at some point. Up until that time, I coded something myself, which wasn't as good as what HGSQ had done, but was slightly different. Maybe I'll run the two and show you the two together, but that's by the by. That's really what I wanted to show you today. What I'd encourage you to do is, if this is something that you think you'll find useful, then I'm going to put it up in, I'm going to say source safe, GitHub, that's how old I am. I'm going to put it up in Git, download it, have a look, run it on some of your own code, run it on some of the code from the forums, see if it has any value, see if you can make it fall over. If you can make it fall over and you're a developer, please fix it, with a comment, or just feedback, and I'll try and have a look at it. I've got it to a point where I think it's worth sharing. Done a few days work on it, on and off. I think it's useful for me. It's something I'm probably going to make use of. I'm hoping that it'll be of some value to others out there as well. If it is, please feedback. There'll be a forum post which will be called FL Studio Basic Debugger or something like that. I think I've called this, let me just have a look at the project. What did I call it? FL Studio Debug. So I'll have a forum post called FL Studio Debug, and that's really about this. If you're watching this video straight away after I've posted it, probably won't be there, but give me a few hours or a day or two and I'll get things sorted, and we'll see where we go from there. I hope that's been of interest. If you've managed to last this long, then congratulations. Feel free to give this video a like, do feedback. ideally in the scripting forum, if you remember, but otherwise underneath this video. And we'll see if this takes us anyway, see if it's got lags. Anyway, let me just look over and see if I can find the button to stop this. God, my eyesight's so bad. Stop recording. Yeah, okay. Thanks very much for your time.